Welcome to the Queen of Swords, the podcast where we take on relationship drama like a boss. Are you tired of being ghosted, breadcrumbed, or just plain confused? Well, grab a glass of wine, put on your favorite sweatpants, and join me, the one and only Queen of Swords, as I take you on a journey through the ups and downs of modern dating and relationships. With some relatable anecdotes and a little bit of tough love, I'm going to help you navigate the tricky waters of love, lust, and everything in between. So whether you're single, in a relationship, or it's complicated, join us every other week as we laugh, cry, and learn to slay the dating game like the queens that we are. Let's get started. Welcome to our podcast where we explore the deepest mysteries of the universe, like why does coffee always taste better on Mondays, and how come there always lose one sock in the dryer? Seriously though, today we're tackling a big one, twin flames. What are they and why are they so hot right now? Okay, before you think we're talking about pyromaniacs dating each other, let's define what twin flames are. According to the New Age playbook, twin flames are two halves of the same soul who are split apart and reincarnated into separate bodies. It's like the ultimate game of hide and seek, but with your own reflection. Why are twin flames so popular? Well, I think it's because they promise the ultimate love story. Think about Romeo and Juliet. Twin flames are supposed to complete each other, challenge each other, and uplift each other to the highest levels of consciousness. It's like a spiritual version of The Bachelor without the rose ceremonies and embarrassing limo exits. But like any good love story, twin flames also have their dark side. When two souls merge, it can be intense, overwhelming, and downright crazy. We're talking about telepathic connections, vivid dreams, and seeing signs everywhere, like that butterfly that just landed on your nose. Not to mention the fact that twin flames also trigger each other's shadow sides, bringing up all the past traumas, insecurity, and negative patterns. So, how do you know if you're in a twin flame relationship? Well, it can feel like you've met your soulmate on steroids and you're willing to go through the highs and lows of the ultimate love roller coaster. But remember, not every intense connection is a twin flame one, and not every twin flame relationship is meant to last. It's like a spiritual version of the Hunger Games without the arrows and dystopian governments. Or maybe you're in the same camp that I am and believe that twin flames is the biggest fraud perpetrated on the public by unscrupulous people calling themselves legitimate tarot readers and psychics. So what exactly are twin flames, and how do they differ from soulmates? Well, imagine you're at a buffet and you have two plates in front of you. The soulmate plate has all kinds of delicious options like compatibility, harmony, and shared values. The twin flame plate, on the other hand, has only one option, and it's labeled crazy intense connection. The idea behind twin flames is that they're two halves of the same soul, split into two bodies and sent on a mission to find each other and unite. Why is this mission so important, though? Well, because twin flames are meant to help each other achieve the highest levels of spiritual growth and transformation. They challenge each other, mirror each other, and push each other to the edge of their comfort zones. But here's the catch. Not all twin flames are ready or willing to do the work. Some of them freak out at the intensity of the connection and run away, like one of those cats that sees a cucumber and freaks out. We call them twin flame runners, and they're like the spiritual version of the Bachelor contestants who realize they're not ready for commitment and hop the fence. Then you have the twin flame chasers, the ones who can't get enough of the connection and want to merge their souls as soon as possible. So let's talk about the good of twin flame connections. Let's start with the intense and transformative part. Imagine that you're a caterpillar and you're just minding your own business, eating leaves, and trying not to get stepped on. Life is good, but you have this nagging feeling that there's something more, something bigger, something beautiful out there. That's when your twin flame shows up like a spiritual butterfly and shakes your whole world. They challenge your beliefs, your fears, your self-doubt, and your comfort zones. They make you see yourself and the universe in a whole new light. But that's not all. Twin flame connections can also bring a deep love and spiritual connection that's hard to describe in words. It's like you're looking into a mirror and you see not only yourself, but the universe. You feel a sense of oneness and wholeness that you never thought possible. And if that's not enough, twin flame relationships can also be healing and transformative. They can help you work through past traumas and emotional wounds, and they can give you the courage and the strength to face your shadows and your pain. Now we'll talk about the bad stuff, the sour grapes of the twin flame tree, the kale of the spiritual pantry. I'm talking about the challenges and difficulties that come with twin flame relationships, the intense emotional turmoil, confusion, and pain, and the potential for unhealthy attachment and codependency. Let's start with the challenges and difficulties that come with twin flame relationships. Imagine you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean and the waves are getting higher and higher. You're not sure if you're going to make it, but you keep pushing forward. This is what it feels like when you're in a twin flame relationship. The emotions can be so intense that it feels like you're in the middle of a Category 5 hurricane. You're not sure if you're going to survive, but you keep pushing forward. And it's not just the emotions. Twin flame connections can also trigger each other's insecurities and their negative patterns, leading to potential issues like codependency and unhealthy attachment. It's like you're in this psychological tug of war and you're not sure who's going to win. You try and help each other heal, but sometimes you end up hurting each other instead. And if that's not enough, not all twin flame relationships are meant to last. Sometimes the universe brings you together to help you learn a lesson, to help you grow, to help you evolve. But once that lesson is learned, it's time to move on. People in the twin flame community like to argue the mythology and how this culture or that culture talk about twin souls. In Greek mythology, for example, it said that humans were originally created with 4 arms, 4 legs, and 2 faces. Zeus, fearing their power, split them in 2, creating separate beings with the hope that they would spend their entire lives searching for their other half, their soulmate. Plato is often quoted with one of the best descriptions of the idea, despite never using the official term twin flame. He said, "When a person meets the half that is his very own, something wonderful happens. The 2 are struck from their senses by love, by a sense of belonging to one another, and by desire, and they don't want to be separated from one another, not even for a moment. These are people who finish out their lives together and still cannot say what it is they want from one another." This definition highlights some of the remarkable parts of the twin flame relationship: the chemistry, the intense feelings of love, and the desire to stay by each other's sides always. In Hindu mythology, the concept of twin flames is known as soulmates or twin souls, and it's believed that they are 2 halves of the same soul separated at birth and destined to reunite, but not just in this lifetime, it might be in a future lifetime. And in some Native American cultures, the concept of twin flames or twin souls is known as twin spirits, and it's believed that individuals who possess both male and female spirits are considered to be twin spirits, possessing the ability to bridge the divide between the physical and spiritual world. One theory is that there are 144,000 humans capable of finding their true twin flame, but 144,000 seems to be significantly fewer than the 7.7 billion people on the planet. So how do those in the community explain this? Again, there's no unified front. Many use the number to push the rhetoric that reaching union is rare and only attainable for the most spiritually developed people. The number 144,000 also seems to have some roots in the Book of Revelation, and Jehovah's Witnesses believe that this is exactly the amount of people who will ascend to heaven as immortal spiritual beings. But what I want to talk to you today about is something different, and it has to do with the formation of a money-making system called Twin Flame Universe. So this is where we're going to get a little messy, and it's either going to be really eye-opening for you, or it's going to trigger you, and probably not in a good way. If you're a diehard fan of Jeff and Shalia, then you may want to skip ahead because I'm going to be spilling some tea. I'm going to tell you right now that I'm a firm believer in the idea that twin flames are a bunch of horseshit designed to manipulate desperate people and take their money. The Twin Flame Universe is a business founded by twin flame teachers Jeff and Shalia Ayan. The business offers courses, books, and coaching services for individuals looking to connect with their twin flame, with a focus on the idea of unconditional love and surrender. In order to take full advantage of their teachings, though, you're going to want to participate in the classes, the workshops, the retreats, buy the books. All of this is going to run you about $7,000. And then they offer one-on-one coaching for the low, low rate of just $200 an hour. A lot of what I have a problem with is their mirror exercise. The mirror exercise starts with identifying what you're upset about and why it upsets you. For example, you might say, I'm upset with my twin flame because I feel rejected by him or her because he or she is ignoring me. But the next part of the exercise is where you switch things around to point at yourself. like this. I am upset with myself because I feel I am rejecting myself and I am ignoring myself. For example, if you're convinced that Brad Pitt is your twin flame, but he just keeps ignoring all your calls and your letters, well, that's your fault. Your fault because you're blocking yourself or not invested enough in the idea of twin flame union. This bugs me to no end because people with trauma are already blaming themselves 9 times out of 10. This makes them really easy to target and really easy to manipulate because they're already in a position to believe that things are their fault. Students paid thousands of dollars for access to twin flame videos, and in some cases were coached into violating restraining orders, cutting off their parents unless they sent money, and working long hours for free. Here's an example. Beth, not her real name, met a man at a music festival in 2012 and sparks flew. They dated, but eventually the man was ready to move on. And this is where things took the path that seems to happen all too often in the twin flame universe. Beth just couldn't accept that things were over. The man claimed that she sent threatening messages, relentlessly called him at all hours, and was everywhere that he went, even on a vacation that he took halfway around the world. He eventually got a restraining order, which she violated time and time again until she was arrested. She even tried to call him from jail. Bail for Beth was set at $150,000, and she was charged with 17 counts related to harassing, stalking, and violating the restraining order, but soon returned to her twin flame classes where Jeff praised her for being brave, and she's not the only one to have restraining orders filed. In May 2018, Anne, also not her real name, showed up at her ex's place and sat outside. "You are mine, just as I am yours," she wrote him in an email, which he then forwarded to her family. He ended up getting a restraining order, and around this time, Anne got kicked out of her new apartment. Her plan was to drive first to a festival in Angels Camp, California, to introduce the party people to the idea of twin flames. Anne didn't need a GPS, she told her Facebook friends. God will tell me where to get the gas. That summer, Anne also cut off contact with her family. She asked for several $1,000s from us, recalled one relative. They couldn't afford it, and she rejected an offer to come home. The year that she joined Twin Flames Universe, Anne turned 30. She decided to go dancing by herself at one of her favorite bars. She says she went to leave and spotted her ex outside, and they exchanged words. She went back inside, and then the cops showed up. The ex gave his version in court 12 days later. He said, "We happened to run into each other at a nightclub, and I left because I was uncomfortable with the idea of her being there. And she followed me out of the nightclub and tried to initiate contact there, which is why I called the police. I didn't want to have to do that." Anne was charged with stalking and violating a restraining order. She didn't have the bail money, so she spent 18 days in jail, where she observed her cellmates had trauma just like hers, and she tried to coach them. After her family bailed her out, paying $25,000 out of their own retirement savings, she says someone at Twin Flame suggested that she had been sent on a mission from God. In class 2 months later, Jeff congratulated Anne for having the faith in the process and God and herself. "It gives me enormous trust in you when before I had none," he said. And the problem includes celebrities, too. In 2014, Ryan Gosling was granted a temporary restraining order against a woman who reportedly harassed and stalked the actor because she was convinced he was her twin flame. Jeff and Shalia's company is valued at around $2 million in 2019, and the couple lives really well off of their teachings. They have a YouTube channel with about 25,000 followers, their Facebook more than 20,000. They have a members-only Facebook group that, as of today, has almost 40,000 people in it. They formed their own church in 2020 and consider themselves to be prophets. Jeff has even said that he considers himself to be the second coming of Jesus himself, and that he seeks to unite all religion under one spiritual umbrella. Long before COVID-19 turned global communications into one giant video chat, Twin Flames Universe was spreading its gospel and building its own world on Facebook, Google Hangouts, and Zoom. Today, followers can order meal plans through Jeff and Shalia's startup Divine Dish, attend Sunday service at their Church of Union, and resolve trauma in mind alignment process sessions. Twin Flames Universe would eventually grow to be large enough to include a sales team, a media team, vice presidents, HR. It had flexible hours and like-minded colleagues all around you. And then they started the ultimate in money-making endeavors, coaching. Someone who really believed in the system, who went through the whole process, all $7,000-8,000 of it, could become a coach for Twin Flame Universe. Despite promises that coaches could easily make 6 figures, several past coaches have said that they made far less. And if you don't bring in a certain amount of subscriptions, then you lose your coach status just as fast as you got it, making this the equivalent of a romance multi-level media marketing campaign. A Vice investigation in 2020 found that the church has a lot of cult-like elements to it, including cutting people off from their loved ones and discouraging them from seeking outside care. They've told people, your body is an extension of your mind. Your mind creates your body. Not food, not exercise, or medical care. At one time, they were claiming that by finding union, you could cure things like PTSD and even cancer. But after backlash, those claims were removed from their website. If a student claims to know a couple in union outside the community, they're told that this isn't possible, that you will not find happiness with anyone outside the Twin Flame group. And don't you dare question what they're teaching. If you express concerns about any aspect, you are told that to deny Jeff and Shalia's word is to deny the word of God and to throw away your only chance at love and happiness. If you question how maybe the program's too expensive and you can't afford it, you're told that you just don't love yourself enough. Days after Vice published an investigation into the workings of Twin Flame Universe, its leaders sent out a letter to ex-members threatening life-ruining consequences for speaking out about family separations, unpaid labor, and a host of other cult-like practices. The letter goes on to describe an invasive investigation process, including subpoenas, extraditions, private detectives, and financial paralysis. The letter says, bankruptcy means it's nearly impossible for you to rent an apartment, rent a room, or even apply for a real-world job. We will not only engage the legal system to take you to court for civil and criminal activities, we will hire private investigators to come after you and investigate you. Over a dozen people got the letter, and not one of them has retracted their statements. Twin Flames Universe also threatened to sue Vice over their investigation, saying that Vice had been scammed into false accounts by former students who were just holding a grudge or who were trying to start up their own rival spiritual coaching business, even though no such business seems to have materialized. They even went so far to say, and to me this is absolutely disgusting, they said, this is the same way Hitler treated Jews during the Holocaust. You sought to control the story and fabricate an insane, hellish lie which would benefit your career and the agenda of a small hate group rather than report on reality. They may even insist that you're not finding your twin flame because you're the wrong sex. At least 5 women who were in the program who refused to transition and become trans were booted and blocked for denying being a divine masculine. Several people were pressured to take on new names and new pronouns. In many ways, I feel this really erases gay and lesbian identities and forces people into one of 2 strictly defined ideas of gender. And if you look at the Facebook group, you can see a lot of people in there in pain. One woman had been raped and was struggling with anger. A man was telling her she must forgive or she can't be with her twin. Another said she had chosen her experience, which, as a sexual assault survivor, absolutely sickens me. According to many in the twin flame community, unless you are with your twin, you must be somehow broken or misaligned or not worthy, and there's no place where that idea shines more than in this group. On any given day, there are 2 or 3 posts of people that are depressed, hopeless, sometimes even in the middle of a mental health crisis. I've heard rumors that one person from the group committed suicide because their twin flame didn't want anything to do with them. I find it interesting that as of today, that there are no less than 24 people that I regularly spoke to that are no longer a part of this group. But the thing that blows me away more than anything else in their program was this blog post from their website, which I did notice today that they have since edited, but the gist is the same. And what it used to say is, if your twin flame is married, that if you're married or your twin flame is married, you just have to go for it. You can't walk on this planet and know who they are and not be together. It's selfish not to free up their spouse to seek their own twin flame. As long as you are happy and in love, it's going to benefit the kids and be so wonderful. A divorce will be a simple, positive experience for everyone involved. So dissolve that marriage. Don't worry about that spouse. A twin flame union trumps a non-twin flame marriage. You are not a homewrecker. You are divinely supported. That is so disgusting. Their goal is to be both the wealthiest couple on the planet and the king and queen of a new world order, which they proudly boast about. They want money and allegiance. They fake nice, but their true nature comes out when things don't go their way. If you disagree, if you don't bring in enough clients, if you fail to pay, you'll be verbally assaulted and quite often threatened with expulsion from the group. They make it very clear that money is their goal. Superficial things are important, like cars, makeup, buying gifts, 5-star reviews. They also need to make clear that they are important. Not only that they live in a special, perfect relationship, but they're also prophets of God, here on earth for you. How lucky for us, how important of them. Interestingly enough, for a company that promises union with your twin flame for going through their program, there seems to be very few couples in harmonious union to be found anywhere. Where are all their success stories? So the damage that this movement does, I think, is really astronomical, just in my own experience. Never mind what I've heard from other readers, other psychics. I have personally seen the following. A woman who refused to leave an abusive marriage, even with black eyes and broken bones, all because someone told her that her husband was her twin flame. I've seen a woman who was literally stalking a man that she claimed was her twin flame, and then tried to explain that it was okay because of the twin flame connection to pursue him, to the judge no less. A woman that believed a coworker was her twin flame, even though they were not seeing each other, and she so completely believed this that she divorced her husband, left her kids behind, only to find out that this coworker had no interest at all in being with her. Time and time again, I see people that are allowing toxic behavior, chasing people who don't want to be with them, or just deluding themselves in general. Nothing short of the Cinderella or Snow White tales, the myth would have you believe that twin flame relationships are the most fulfilling relationships on earth. They come with sacred sex, spiritual superpowers, and a happily ever after ending. Who wouldn't want that? Yet in this twin flame community, they explain that there's usually a runner in this reunion. They tell you that they're running because the other person is scared of their feelings or not ready for anything serious. The worst part about this is the person who believes the other person is their twin flame will put up with all sorts of emotional and spiritual abuse from the person in question. They believe that if they're just patient enough and put up with enough bullshit, that the soul in question will return to them and the magic list of twin flame benefits are going to activate, basically fixing everything. And the cycle goes on with a never-ending search for this magical partner delivering enlightenment. Here's how that usually happens. We meet someone and instantly know it's significant. We, either on our own or with the help of a psychic reader, identify someone in one of these relationship categories: twin flame, soulmate, or karmic relationship in our heads. We attach these stories and expectations on the person whose soul seems so familiar to us. And then we're upset when that person doesn't want to participate to the depth that we expect, or vice versa. We or they choose to either wait around for the other person to have some sort of magical awakening and continually put up with their abuse, hanging on to some small amount of hope that they'll realize the relationship. Or they jump from person to person, hoping this one will finally be the one. Either way, it becomes an addiction, a huge distraction from the soul's journey, and especially detrimental to the self-actualization process, which should that be your choice in this life. But the belief in twin flames and soulmates promotes a love that's limited to only one partner. This love is conditional, for we will love someone as long as they fulfill the criteria that we believe our twin flame or soulmate should have. But if someone doesn't fit those criteria, we don't allow ourselves to be fully loving towards them. This conditional and limited form of love is always very intense, with very emotional ups and downs. Because you have associated your happiness with someone or something outside of yourself, you are only happy when they fulfill your expectations and unhappy when they don't. and the love that you have towards them will be dependent on how happy you feel around them. I get it. Everyone wants to love and be loved, but chasing after this idea is a lot like chasing a unicorn. You're going to get tired, discouraged, and really disappointed. And is that any way to live your life? Work to love yourself first, and the right person will come along. Someone that is not half of a soul, but someone that is whole and fulfilled themselves. That is the only way that you can have a relationship that is full and complete. Also, don't make the mistake of letting your biological clock do the talking for you. The right relationship can't be rushed. If you're devoting all of your time to some mythical ideal, the right person could walk right by you and you're not going to see them. True love is unconditional and unlimited. It's not intense, but peaceful. There are no highs and lows, but instead, true love is a constant, permanent state. In this state, you love yourself, you love everyone else, and you love life itself. It doesn't matter who the other person is or what they do or say, you will love them. And because you love yourself, you don't need to rely on others to feel happy, whole, and complete. Your happiness isn't going to be tied to people or things outside of yourself. Finally, twin flames is an idea that is ready-made for this digital age where dating has become some sort of algorithmic pursuit. There are articles on Goop and in Allure and Elite Daily that have framed the idea of twin flames as some sort of antidote to all your problems. It's something that celebrities talk about, and apps like TikTok are full of people peddling it. If you believe in twin flames, that's fine for you. But realistically, what are the chances that you're finding this mythical being on a planet of 7.5 billion people, and the two of you being in the same place at the same time? Don't chase someone who doesn't want to be with you. They're not scared of their feelings or just not ready. They're not interested. We'll dig a little more into this in our next episode where we talk about the things that men wish you knew. But learn to be confident and love yourself, and things will happen as they're meant to. Be realistic with your expectations and stop chasing a fantasy. Understand what a healthy relationship should look like and know when to walk away. Otherwise, all you're going to do is drive yourself crazy and make yourself miserable. I strongly believe that twin flames is an idea that is designed to prey on people's insecurities and drain their wallets. And it won't be long before the next big thing in the New Age community comes along. Well, folks, that's a wrap on another episode of Queen of Swords. We hope you enjoyed the ride and that you're feeling a bit more empowered and a little bit less confused about the wild world of dating and relationships. Remember, when it comes to love, there are no easy answers, but with a little bit of humor, a lot of self-care, and a trusty sword by your side, you can handle anything the heart throws your way. So until next time, keep your sword sharp, your heart open, and your standards high. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcasting platform. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.